Okay, welcome back. I tried this format recently on my own car and it worked really well, so I'm definitely not trying to steal your views, subscribers, comments and likes and do it all again. But I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm not talking about my car, I'm talking about one of the most famous cars in the past 30 years, but it has kind of skyrocketed in the past year or two. It is known as the Mazda MX-5, the Eunos Roadster, the Miata. If you're an American, do not call it a Miata if you're not American. They were called Miatas in America, not in the UK, not in Germany, not in fucking Spain. Here it is. This is Lloyd's Mazda MX-5.
8-skate? Is it really as much fun as you say it is to be a street racer? I don't understand.
Fuck yeah. Winky winky. This isn't just a normal MX-5, this is a Eunos Roadster, which there is a difference. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but as far as I know, the Eunos Roadster was only made in Japan. Can I get a thumbs up if that's right? Yay, I got that right. I know I'm dead good at my cars, me. So that means that this is actually driven in Japan. It's on around 130,000 miles. And as you can tell, the bodywork is really good because just before Lloyd bought it, it had basically a full respray. So in the past few years, MX-5s have just kind of skyrocketed in how popular they are. And it kind of seems like everywhere you scroll on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if you're 90, it kind of seems that everywhere you look, there's one of these. And it's for pretty good reason. I mean, just have a look at it. It looks cool. It's got the pop-ups, which who doesn't like pop-ups? I've debated adding pop-ups to about every single car that I've ever owned, until I realised that not only is it incredibly illegal, but it's also really fucking hard to do. But there is a reason why they've gotten so popular, especially in tuning. It's that engine bay. There's so much room to work with. It's kind of the same reason that Civics are popular, which is there's just room to work with. You can do anything. You can turbo them. You can engine swap them. This is a 1.6. Yes, it's a 1.6. You can swap the 1.8 into it, which gives you a bit more power, a bit more fun. But you can also just turbo the stock 1.6, and to be honest, it would probably survive. It's from Japan. Now, although this car looks pretty stock, and by that I mean it hasn't got a wide body kit and it's not wrapped in lilac like Lloyd wants to do. I'll put a picture up right now of that. However, it's not completely stock. It's got a hardtop, which was quite a funny story actually. We tried to put that in the back of a Micra. I don't know why we thought that was a good idea. It obviously didn't fit. So that was a bit of a wasted journey, but it was quite funny. I can say that I had half of a MX-5 hardtop in the back of a Micra. Next up is the exhaust. It's got a pretty loud exhaust on it. I do have a few videos and I'm sure that I'll cut to one right now. But all in all, it's pretty good. Obviously it's an import, so insurance is a bit more expensive. Tax, I'm sure, isn't cheap on it. How much is the tax? $325. Fuck. I didn't realise it was that bad. I thought my tax was expensive. You know, I was paying $17.50 for the Passat and the Civic at the same time, monthly. So that's what, $35 a month? So that's almost $400 a year. That was very expensive, but luckily enough, I just sold that car, which I didn't record any of, like I said I would, but hey ho, I only have one car now. But yeah, this is overall probably one of the best first cars that money can buy. I am going to do a video soon, kind of judging which one's the best. And for people on a budget, this definitely is not the best first car ever. Insurance is ridiculous on it. Tax, as you just heard, is a little bit silly on it. But is it worth it? I'd say it is. You get to brag. You get to say that your car's actually driven in Japan. I wish I could say that. They didn't even make my car in Japan. It's got the Japanese logo on it, and it's not even from there. See, funnily enough, the MX-5 was also one of my dream cars for a really long time. The only reason why I kind of changed my mind about that is because I found out about the Civic. If it wasn't for the Civic, I probably would have one, and I remember looking for months to try and find a half-decent one, cheap, and they're not cheap anymore. They're quite expensive. They've skyrocketed, especially coming up towards summer. Car prices go up anyway. But for these, they used to be worth around $2,000. Back when I was looking last December, they were about $2,000. They're not worth $2,000 anymore. That is half price if you manage to find one for $2,000. And you'll be lucky if you even find someone listing it for that. One thing that I'd do if I ever had an MX-5 is I'd either take the clean route, I'd wrap it baby pink, put a dunce kit on it, I think it's dunce kit. I'd put a dunce kit on it, the wide body, do that, get a loud exhaust, probably the same exhaust as this to be honest, because it does sound really good. And that's it, I'd probably do that, slam it to the floor and call it a day. Or I'd do something a bit cooler, which is I'd make it an off-road car. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the off-road Miatas, but they're absolutely insane. Like, I'll put some pictures up, I'll put a video up as well. But I honestly think that they are the coolest things ever. And it goes to show that these cars can be anything that you really want them to be. They don't have to be just clean. They don't have to be rugged. They can literally be a show car that can go off-road. You can do anything. But overall, the MX-5 is probably one of my favorite cars. It's definitely up there with the Civics and the Micras. They're great. I would definitely have one. If I had the space for it, I probably would have bought one already. And actually, in the past few months, I've come really close to buying one. Instead of buying my Paseo, I was about to purchase 2 white ones, one donor, one that was actually on the road. But I'm kind of happy that I didn't, only for one reason. And that is the space. I mean, I'll put some shots up of kind of the legroom situation down there, but I'm 6'2". I don't really fit in these that well. And that kind of sucks. It's one thing that I've kind of had to live with, as silly as it sounds. I know that you can do things to kind of make space in these. I'm pretty sure I've seen people like rip open the chairs, take stuffing out so they can sit a little bit lower. But do I really want to touch it? And if this was my car, would I do it? Probably not. This is a pretty clean example. It's British Racing Green, which, I mean, everywhere that you go, you probably get looks in this. If I'm not wrong, I'd make sure that I get looks in this. I'd be driving at 7K revs everywhere. But I wouldn't probably do that. And I think it's kind of wasted on me to get a small little car that I don't really fit in. So as much as I love them, I probably wouldn't buy one. But yeah, that is basically it. There's not much else to talk about that 20 billion other people haven't already covered, but you can't go wrong. I absolutely love this thing. I think this is one of the nicest MX-5s that I've seen that's stock, and I'm not a massive fan of stock cars usually, but this thing's just gorgeous. I mean, the color of it. I love the mismatched hardtop. We've been joking for months that it kind of makes it look a bit like a Christmas tree, but fuck it. I love Christmas trees. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Lloyd, very much for letting me use this car. And I'll see you next week.